These reasons.
Hey guys, welcome to Dogtopia Survival. As you can see, I'm a dog and there are dogs behind me.
2, codenamed the Dream Hunters and Air Chasers, respectively, are continually monitoring for any reports of sudden or violent
Today we're going to be
deaths
playing an
related to
actual
sleep deprivation in order to identify the remaining instances of wild SCP-966.
Yeah, just kidding. That was cringe.
SCP-966 specimens,
So yes,
3 males and 1 female,
mates,
have been
we are
acquired
going
by
to
the
be...
Foundation, and they are currently contained in a 10 by 10 meter room that is lined with lead and equipped with infrared
We have
security
set a
cameras.
lot of tennis
Each
balls.
specimen is fed
We have a
20
lot of
kilograms
leads.
meat each
We're
month,
going to need
and in the event
a
that
ton
the
of
female
these.
specimen gives birth, the new specimen is to be taken for observation and study before being
We're
disposed
going to have a
of
ton
prior
of
to
dog
reaching
biscuits,
maturity.
but I think
Now
we can
go and
feed
watch
them.
another entry from the
Oh,
files of
I
Dr.
didn't want
Bob,
to do that.
and be sure to subscribe as
To
we
me,
delve
so of
further and
course we can
further
do that.
into the SCP Foundation's classified archives.
Now, we have to get into third person.
You should get more. That's why we merged with Sprint. Now, it's about to get even better. And as we work to integrate Sprint's network, our nationwide 5G keeps getting stronger, with the capacity and coverage to reach more people and places across the country. Who says you can't have it all? Now is the time for 5G. Now is the time to join.
It's 1916, right in the middle of World War I, and a British soldier is huddled in a trench, occasionally peeking over the top. He's supposed to be on watch, but there's little to see in the darkness that hangs over no man's land. But then, he spots something big. It's a shadowy figure, only about 20 feet away, and it looks like it's digging in the mud. It's too dark to make out what he's looking at. So the soldier shoots a flare into the sky, lighting up the battlefield with a dull red light. Now he can see it clearly, and it's like nothing he's ever seen before. A huge, terrifying monster, picking up bodies out of the mud. The soldier can only stare, petrified by what he's seeing in front of him, when the creature suddenly turns to stare back at him, and smiles. Hi, I'm Dr. Bob, and this is SCP-3456, also known as the Orcadian Horseman. SCP-3456 is the designation given to a group of quadrupeds, of which the exact number that exists is unknown. These entities resemble horses, though with some marked differences. SCP-3456s lack any hair, and their thick skin is translucent, revealing the fat and muscle underneath. They have 3-toed hooves, and strangest of all, they have 1 or more human-shaped torsos fused to their backs. Each torso has a pair of arms and a head, but no legs, the torso seeming to meld directly into the back of the creature's horse-like body. The arms are much longer than those of a human, with a total wingspan that is double the anomaly's height. The arms are so long, they typically drag along the ground when the creature moves. At the end of each arm are 5 sharpened bones that protrude from where fingers would normally be. Instead of a nose, most instances of SCP-3456 have a hole in the middle of the face, which is capable of producing a high-pitched scream that is as loud as a jet engine. SCP-3456 instances vary in size, with the largest recorded manifestation standing 30 meters tall and 15 meters. long. Their bodies have also shown to be quite resilient and are completely impervious to conventional weaponry. The anomalous creatures have displayed a high level of adaptive intelligence, using complex tactics like setting up ambushes through the use of property destruction and psychological manipulation to lure targets into traps. This high level of intelligence has led many at the Foundation to believe that SCP-3456 is sapient. Any direct observation of an SCP-3456 instance will cause the entity to become aware of its observer, at which point it will display this awareness by turning in the exact direction of the observer. Once an instance of SCP-3456 has spotted its observer, it will engage in predatory behavior, stalking its witness and pursuing them far beyond the initial site of manifestation, all the while concealing itself and using camouflage as it chases them. SCP-3456 will repeat this behavior over and over, intentionally letting itself be seen by observers over and over as it hunts down and takes each one, until it has captured a large number of individuals and suddenly dematerializes. It's currently unknown where SCP-3456 takes its victims, or what happens to them once it dematerializes, nor is it known how many victims 3456 needs to capture before it is satisfied and dematerializes for good, as the number taken has varied between instances. It's not currently understood why, but SCP-3456 is either unwilling or unable to cross bodies of fresh water, and making it to the other side of a freshwater source like a river, lake, or even a stream is the only currently known way to escape the anomaly once it begins its pursuit. Instances of SCP-3456 typically appear near sites of mass human suffering, such as battlefields and natural or man-made disasters. And there have been numerous reports and sightings of 3456s at historical events throughout the 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries, with multiple manifestations often appearing at the same event. One Foundation report contains an account of an SCP-3456 instance appearing during the First World War at the Battle of the Somme. Rumors spread through the British troops in their trenches of the appearance of a mythical creature many believed to be the Nuka-Lavi, a horse-like animal with origins in Orcadian mythology. Like many SCPs, this ancient folktale turned out to have very real origins.
The holidays are coming, but Toyotathon's already here with great year-end deals for that special someone. Trust me, these work way better than mistletoe.
Toyota Care makes great deals even better. It's a no-cost maintenance plan for 2 years or 25,000 miles. Toyota, let's go places. People are fighting back against ankylosing spondylitis.
Watch me.
Watch me. Watch me. Cosentyx is the first treatment to target IL-17A for ankylosing spondylitis. Cosentyx is proven to provide less back pain and morning stiffness. Don't use it if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for scoliosis. Risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptom.
Oh, look, it's another portal. Oh, no, it's not. There's another portal.
Learn more at Cosentyx.com.
I wonder if I'll get a golden pickaxe
Dave
with
Harkin kept a journal
efficiency
which
4 or
described giant hoof
something.
prints appearing in the battlefield mud, and soldiers disappearing under mysterious circumstances, appearing to be killed by forces even more terrifying
No!
than the war could produce. Harkin described a
No!
soldier who was firing on advancing Germans when the mud beneath his feet started boiling. Before anyone could react, mud went flying everywhere, and everyone was knocked off their feet. The soldier was gone. Not even a body part remained. And Harkin was sure he saw bony protrusions reaching up out of the mud underneath the soldier just before he disappeared. Not long after, Harkin spotted the Orcadian horsemen on the battlefield, and the horsemen spotted Harkin. He watched as the instance of SCP-3456 picked bodies out of the mud and carried them off into the darkness. He took several shots at the entity with his rifle, but the bullets had no effect. As days passed, the half-man, half-horse continued to appear night after night, always doing the same thing, picking up injured soldiers off the battlefield and taking them into the darkness. It would always look back at Harkin, seemingly taunting him or inviting him to try following it. Soon more instances of SCP-3456 appeared, many with more than one torso on their back. And then they began laying traps, burying themselves in the mud and waiting for the soldiers to rush over them. Dave Harkin was declared missing in action at the Battle of the Somme, and it's presumed he was taken by the same instance of SCP-3456 that he first observed. Another first-hand account of an encounter with SCP-3456 occurred following the 2011 earthquake and subsequent nuclear disaster in Fukushima, Japan. With over 2,500 missing persons, several manifestations of SCP-3456 were reported in the areas affected by the quake, and SCP Foundation reconnaissance teams were sent to investigate, 2 of which were quickly wiped out during the encounters with 3456.
Ow, way.
After exploring the evacuated city and not finding anything, spotted an instance of SCP-3456 standing motionless in the middle of an intersection. As they laid eyes on the Orcadian horseman, the human torso that was hanging limp off the motionless horse's body stood upright and began swinging its arms, damaging and destroying the buildings and structures around it. It then turned towards the team and emitted an ear-shatteringly loud shriek from the hole where its nose should be, before beginning its pursuit. The team immediately began evacuation procedures, even ordering a drone strike in an attempt to slow down the chasing anomaly. The team took shelter in an abandoned high-rise building, but knew their only chance of escape was if they could make it over the nearest body of fresh water, which would mean crossing a bridge over the Arakawa River, which was a kilometer away.
What if I told you that you could be anything you want in life? Crazy. You could be a creator, be a force to reckon.
Why Silk Touch?
College is about
Why Silk Touch?
So they took maybe $20 and an old watch.
Why?
You didn't take a swing?
Why?
Heard you had some excitement last night. I wish they'd have picked my place, you know?
Why didn't you take them out?
I was just trying to keep them
Stop!
minimum.
Yeah, how's that working out for you?
You okay? 'Cause you don't look okay.
The team was 50 yards away from the bridge with no further signs of SCP-3456 when one emerged from a side street right next to them. Small arms fire was used against the creature, and 2 rocket-propelled grenades were fired at it, but all had no effect. A flashbang detonated in the anomaly's face bought enough time for some of the squad to make it across the bridge and escape. But 2 members of the team were carried away by SCP-3456, with the last image captured by one of the squad's helmet-mounted cams being a shot of the Orcadian horseman smiling just before it demanifested. SCP-3456 is currently uncontained, and due to its extremely dangerous nature and the lack of any containment procedures, it has been designated Keter Class. Any personnel who observe the entity are to be treated with Class G amnestics, and their assigned treatment facility must be located within 1 kilometer of a body of fresh water. The Foundation has an ongoing project to attribute any historical references to SCP-3456 to myth, shell shock, hysteria, or PTSD, and any reports of loss of life or property damage involving the anomaly are to be replaced with explanations that attribute the cause to other natural or man-made events. Regions where SCP-3456 is more likely to appear are to be closely monitored with personnel ready to assist in evacuation efforts. But above all else, direct observation of SCP-3456 must be avoided, since once that has happened, there's very little even the SCP Foundation can do to protect you. Now go and watch another entry from the files of Dr. Bob, and be sure to subscribe.
Okay. Alright, Dad.
Delve
Love you guys.
further
Bye.
and further into the